We have Sean Stone coming in to the show right now. This is super exciting. Do you want to bring Sean Stone in, the absolutely incredible?
Nice. Thanks for having me.
Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
It was amazing. It's amazing since I've seen you last. How you been?
I've been great. I've been very busy. And yeah, but lots of good stuff. So lots to get
Amazing.
into. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give us the update on, we had you on the show last. What has been going on? What's been the update for you?
I mean, basically, long story short, when I came on last, I started to talk about spillover commerce, which is our
Exactly.
methodology. Yeah. And about how basically brands can absolutely dominate on Amazon in 2026 by also growing their Shopify business at the same time.
Yeah.
So since then, a lot of people saw the episode, and a lot of the focus has been Amazon first brands kind of talking about, okay, great, I want to do this. I want to get off of Amazon dependency. It can start to feel like a drug for some brands because you're basically addicted to Amazon.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the response was killer. And
Yeah.
I wanted to come back and thank you so much for having me and kind of expand on what we talked about, because there's a lot of really common questions that come up. Like every time I get on a discovery call, someone's like, so how do I measure this? And how about this and that? And I'm like, I should just start putting out content about this. So
Yeah.
it's been busy.
Well, let's start there. How do you measure this? That's going to be basically my first question out of the gate. I mean, if you were to just hand it to me, I would say third-party tracking tools, but you let me know. How are you going to start measuring this?
No, not necessary. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it's free, babe. Free 99, baby.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah. But okay, so the first thing is there are leading and lagging indicators that
Yeah.
this is working. So, and just for background context, the idea is you take a high performing Amazon brand that has limited other channels. And what you can do is install a profitable Shopify channel on top of it and start running meta ads or a form of traffic and get a huge amount of spillover from that onto Amazon. It's like grows your Amazon business while profitably growing your Shopify business. So that's the methodology. The leading indicator that it's starting to work is branded search on Amazon, because what you'll notice is a lot of brands are not necessarily getting a lot of search on Amazon unless they're doing something to promote themselves. Like people go to Amazon to buy things they need. They don't necessarily go to Amazon to buy brands they care about. Like there's not a lot of Gucci and Versace being sold on Amazon.
Fair.
Because it's a platform for people who need things and need them quickly. Theoretically, if you're buying a Gucci or Versace product, you're probably willing to wait. And so, that's the first thing. It's like you need to be aware that inside of Amazon's various tools, you'll see the leading indicator that things are starting to work when you see growth in your branded search. So that's the first thing, that if you're starting to run external traffic for the first time, you're going to see it spill over onto Amazon via branded search. So that's the first thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, that makes total sense. Branded search. Could you talk about a couple of your customers that have found success with this? Could you give us example customers of yours that have like, hey, we've done this. We've seen this playbook run out for them. This worked perfectly. Could you talk a little bit about that and put some data into that?
So right now I can't. No. Okay. So here's the thing that a lot of people in the Shopify game don't realize is like Amazon is so competitive. It's so hard to get a brand to be willing to put their actual brand name behind what they're doing, because it's like, my competitors are going to find it through a Google alert and then copy whatever I do, because that's what happens all day, every day on Amazon. But I can tell you something more generically. Okay. So a home safety product went from selling, I don't know, maybe 10 units a day with really, really high or really weak media efficiency ratio. The acronym
Sure.
on Amazon is TACOS. And I just checked, and this has been fairly consistent. On average, they went from selling 10 units a day to 30 plus units a day on Amazon, 60 to 75 units a day on good days. And that's just from starting to run external traffic and making sales profitably on their website. So the spillover effect can, in that case, it 3x their business for this one specific product. And this is a home safety average order value of $60+ and
Ooh.
Amazon. And it's a product that costs a lot of money, and on top of that, you need it to work. And so when you start running something or start running Facebook ads or meta ads on a product like that, you start to get a huge amount of spillover onto Amazon, and that spillover can be highly profitable because you're already kind of eating those costs on the Shopify side of things, even before you start to deal with the cost of or start incurring the costs on Amazon. So that
Could
makes
you,
sense.
yeah, could you double click a little bit on those Facebook ads? Is there a certain type of creative that is kind of the North Star metric you're trying to go for if you're trying to, tackle this spillover effect type of deal? Is there
Mhm.
some type of, template you're trying to go after? Is there some type of volume you're trying to go after specifically in regards to meta ads?
So what we're really trying to do is we're willing to do anything and everything to profitably grow your Shopify business, which will then in turn profitably grow your Amazon business.
Sure.
Um, what we're what we've been finding is we've been getting a lot of really solid results from just video ads kind of selling a pain point.
Yeah.
So, it's like, hey, this product's related to fire safety, and it's like, did you know that in a home fire situation you have 5 seconds to react before things get out of control? Like
Yeah.
that's a really powerful hook that has driven a lot of performance for us. And then there's kind of like other things like story based ads that really tell the story of like, I'm so glad that we had this product when there was a kitchen fire for us. Like those are the different things that really start to sell what it is that is working on Meta in 2026. You're selling pain points, you're selling reasons to buy, that kind of thing.
Is there a brand kind of archetype that is meant exactly for this? Where if I'm a brand owner and I'm considering doing this type of thing, I don't
Mhm.
know if I'm the right brand archetype for this because I have XYZ AOV, I have XYZ payback period, I'm, talking about this type of subscriber rate. Is there a
Mhm.
perfect kind of, archetype for a brand for you for this type of spillover effect to work perfectly? A home run type of deal.
So the home run type of company to run this is a company with a high AOV and a
Yeah.
high LTV because you
Got it.
can profitably acquire on the front end.
Got
Um,
it.
but a lot of the companies that need this the most are ones who are selling products on Amazon with a really low average order value. And so the way that we have kind of talked to them about what they need to be doing is bundling products and bulk selling products, things like that, so that they can kind of get closer to a profitable front end acquisition. Maybe it's not profitable, but maybe it's closer to break even. And then making sure they're really set up on the back end to profitably remarket to those customers and make their money back in a 90 or 180-day period. Like that's kind of the format that we really recommend. But to answer your question directly, the best option is somebody who's got a high first order with really good reorder capabilities. And a lot of brands can become that brand, but it takes some work. It's not something you just
Yeah.
install and overnight it works perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, that paints an exact period, kind of a type of a company that I'm looking for. Are you seeing that as the archetype for successful Shopify brands right now? Because I'm sure you have seen a ton of data and
Mhm.
you've just kind of seen a ton of brands at this point going
Yeah.
through your agency where you're seeing the successful ones, you're seeing the ones that are kind of just quote unquote zombie brands at the moment. Are there some characteristics that you're pulling out in 2026 where it's like, hey, if you got these couple of characteristics, this is really important because that's going to mean you're a winning brand in 2026?
Yeah. Well, the what's so interesting is the characteristics that lead to success on Amazon versus what lead to success on other channels is
Yeah.
really different. And that's what's so interesting. So on Amazon, you want to have a product that just converts like crazy.
Yeah.
It is not uncommon to have a product with a 50% conversion rate as a bestseller on Amazon, meaning
Whoa.
one in two people who go to the listing buy. But I can open up accounts right now and show you 60 plus percent.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, it's crazy. It is
Yeah.
bananas. And that's, where the low average order value really makes sense. And like you kind
Yeah.
of are forced into playing this volume game. But, on something like Facebook, or rather on Shopify, like Shopify first brands, probably can't ever get their conversion rate that or high enough to make meta ad spend work. So what you may want to do instead is find a way to take your bestseller and make it more palatable for a consumer to buy off of your website through bundling, discounts, upsells, like whatever you need to do in order to kind of like earn those customers' trust onto your own website. So that's kind of what we're seeing is working right now. Bundling new products, like launching a new higher priced offer and only having it on your Shopify website, it's
Yeah.
a great play. It's worth it because you can order less. You're allowed to go out of stock because it's not available on Amazon. Like all these things are just low hanging fruit if you're willing to kind of go outside of the norms.
Could you talk a little bit about, I mean, so Chris and I recently covered on the show, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, Amazon is starting to hike up some fees pretty aggressively with a lot of their sellers. And a lot of the time they like to say, oh, this is just a temporary fee. This is only going to be on for a little bit. This isn't
Mhm,
serious. And then it kind of just gets baked in and then you kind of forget about it. And then it's always there. And then
mhm,
you're like, oh, well, that's not fun. And
mhm,
so sellers are kind of upset about this, where they're like, I don't really know what's going on right now because my margin just keeps getting gobbled up by Amazon every umpteenth day. They come out
mhm.
with a new thing. Could you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about this? Because you are probably seeing this directly with the brands that you're interacting with. What is their
Mhm.
reaction to all of this?
Anger.
Anger.
Everyone's angry right now because it feels like Amazon has recognized that they've got a lot of brands in a bit of a stranglehold
Yeah.
where they can just they can just start raising fees and there's not really a lot you can do about it. It's like, what,
Yeah.
are you going to stop selling on our platform where you make 80% of your revenue? I don't
Yeah.
think so. Um, I don't think you can afford to do that right now. And for a lot of brands, they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And their profit margins that were already small are just getting decimated by, new unexpected fees that Amazon's just throwing into the mix. So yeah, I really feel for them. It's part of what um, led us to starting spillover commerce
Yeah.
because back in like it's been a little over a year now since we rebranded our agency, but back in April of last year, I was looking at Amazon's Q1 report and I noticed that the Amazon advertising business was growing 3 times faster than the Amazon retail business.
Yeah.
So if ads are growing faster than the actual purchases, really all that tells me is Amazon's taking a bigger percentage of sales as an advertised fee or as an advertisement fee and taking that directly into their pocket. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. They're right to be angry. That's exactly why they should be angry, and that's what
Yeah.
we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's interesting too because today Amazon dropped the fact that their free cash flow is down 95% year over year from Q1 of 2025. And so I
Mhm.
think they're going into this kind of like scramble mode of like, who else can we squeeze? Who else
Yeah.
can we grab some more dollars out of? And when you see this chart of just them dealing with Q1 and they're down free cash flow 95%, and you're like, all right, they're going to start tightening the belt a little bit. And who do we go after? It's these sellers that have always been with us.
Yep.
Another really interesting story that dropped this week is the Amazon logistics piece of all of this that is now available to all businesses. Chris and
Mhm.
I had a couple takes on this where we thought it was semi-positive. It's totally available to all the SMB, no matter scale, size, commit,
Mhm.
margin. I
Yeah.
would love your take on this as this starts to bake out, because it is an interesting thing where you have this kind of backed by Amazon. Okay, there's a little bit of a trust factor here, but then you're also kind of giving them all the stuff. And then it's like, hey, if we hike up those fees on you, I'm so sorry. You just got to pay it.
Yeah. I think if we look at historically what Amazon's done in the past, they probably are going to follow a very similar playbook. And I'm going to come off
Yep.
very cynical here, but fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know. So here's what I think, and here's
Okay.
2026, 2027 prediction.
I
Amazon
got it.
Logistics, they're going to come in and they're going to undercut everyone. It's going to be really
Yeah.
bad for UPS and FedEx. And in the short term, it's going to drive down costs. It's going to be really good for people. And because of all their like really, really, really organized logistics, what they're
Oh, yeah.
probably going to do is they're going to use that to gain a huge amount of market share very quickly. And then after they've done some time beating out the competition, they're going to try to offer incentive after incentive after incentive. No, first it's going to be incentives before that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, you should just, instead of doing sales through, or instead of fulfilling through Amazon, what you should do, or so instead of fulfilling from your own warehouse to USPS or something like that,
Yeah.
you should just fulfill through Amazon. You already use us for logistics. Think about all
Yeah.
these incentives. And then once they kind of lock down that playbook, then that's when fees start going up. As soon as they figure out a way to make it win-win in the beginning to really drag people in,
Yeah.
because they offer lower cost or lower this or lower that, then and only then will they start to really hold you hostage and be like, oh no, fees tripled, but we already have all your inventory, so there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You know,
You want to
like,
migrate? It's going to cost so much money. Do you want to migrate?
dude, sometimes Amazon acts like the mob, and I'm always just like, I think that in the boardrooms in Amazon, there's just like photos of the Gambino crime family, and just
Yeah.
like
Tony
like
Soprano.
yeah, just like all of the like they just look at them and say, oh man, just our heroes.
Sean, this is amazing.
Yeah.
For people that want to get in touch with you, for people that want to work with you, where should
Mhm.
they go? How do they get in touch with you? How do they talk to you?
So I would recommend you actually take one of our quizzes. So
Okay.
spillover.stonesgoods.com is where you can go and take our quiz about, are you to Amazon dependent? But we have a bunch of other quizzes where we specifically kind of, instead of me jumping on the phone and doing a discovery call with you, I want to help people faster, and I want to help people without them like feeling like they need me to sell them something. Like, I put these quizzes out to ask the same questions that you would ask me on, or I would ask you on a discovery call, to kind of like get you answers faster. Like, hey, do I think that you could launch on Amazon tomorrow? Yes, if you fix your offers. Let me give you a score about how ready your offers are. And that's kind of what we do with these quizzes. So spillover.stonesgoods.com is the main place that you can find our scorecard. You can also go to spillovercommerce.com. There's links to our scorecards there. Or you can contact me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. I'm Sean Stone. I'm the second most popular Sean Stone on the internet after Oliver Stone's son. Unfortunately,
Let's go.
Oliver Stone decided to give his son the exact same name as me. So, here we are.
There we go. Sean, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate all your insights. Sean Stone, everybody.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.